Hello, and here we are, not on Sunday evening, on Monday morning, and going to record the meditation on rain, which is sitting with the difficult, recognizing what is here, allowing and accepting what is here, investigating whatever arises, and then working towards what might be suggested as ways of nourishing or nurturing the needs that you're aware of through the meditation. And before we start, I want to talk a little bit about putting this into context. So for the last few sessions, we have been looking at using mindfulness to be aware of the world around us, of being in awareness rather than on autopilot. And we've then developed that to being aware that the body has particular sensations, and moving on from that, an awareness that in certain situations our body reacts and our emotions and our thoughts are kind of pushed by circumstances into feelings of pleasure or discomfort, unpleasant experiences and pleasant experiences. And we have gone one step further to talk about how and why the body and the mind react in these ways, and to talk about concepts of attachment. So attachment to things that from experience our body and our memory remember as being pleasant, or things that evoke pleasurable emotions. And with that attachment there is a drive really to get more, to stay with those feelings, to recreate those experiences. And we've also looked at the other side of the spectrum, which is aversion, where we come across experiences that are difficult or dangerous or hurtful or really just downright physically unpleasant. Then there's obviously a quite healthy drive to avoid those, to stay away from them. Don't want to go there again. But taking this on again one step further, what happens when we are having aversion or attachment to things that are actually going on inside our own mind or inside our own body, or even attachment to things in life that will inevitably fade and change. Change is the universal constant in life. Whatever we get attached to, we have to accept that one day we have to let it go. It might be true that what we're attached to in terms of outcomes, what we want to achieve, or how we would like to be, those expectations might not be realized. And indeed, there might be things that we try to avoid. We might not like a particular way that the body or the mind reacts, whether it be an angry reflex or a fearful reflex or a depressive tendency. Whatever it is that we find inside ourselves that triggers our inner critic or our self-criticism or our inner doubt, how do we deal with our aversion towards that? Because what we create, if we're attached to things that we can no longer have, or attached to things that will never be realized, and if we are in aversion to things that are actually here, that are true within ourselves, then we're always living within a gap between the way we want things to be and the way things actually are. And in that gap we find difficulty, we find suffering. And it's true to say that all living beings have suffering and have difficulty. Even a little seed growing in the soil has to struggle perhaps through periods of drought or periods of heavy rain or cold or whatever. So all living beings have to struggle to survive and to thrive, and that's the same of us as humans, with the added mental burden of dealing with our own inner dialogue and our own inner goals and aspirations and aversions. So we're using mindfulness and meditation as a way of exploring what happens within the mind and the emotions and the body when we're in a period of difficulty, and playing with this idea of just sitting with whatever is here. In our Western culture, there is a strong cultural belief that difficulty is resolved by doing something. If we're aware that something's not quite right, we've got to go fix it. We've got to go do something, change something, try harder, go further, push through the pain. All that kind of belief that you've just got to be stronger or further or longer or harder, or just if you just try that little bit more, if you just change in whatever ways are needed, if you put up with whatever challenges that throws up, then eventually you will achieve nirvana, right? Advertisers are very good at telling us what we feel inadequate within ourselves or what we don't have in our lives that we should be aspiring to, and then offering us their product as a way of achieving that perfect state of bliss. But what would it be like if instead of trying harder to do something about our difficulty, if we just sat with our difficulty? If instead of doing something, we just learned to be with that difficulty as an experience to be explored in a mindful way. And that's really where we're going with this meditation. So we're really reframing the difficult, and instead of trying to change things and do things about them, well, maybe change will come. Maybe after sitting with the difficult and getting to know your inner self with compassion and acceptance, maybe through that process you can open up a space, a new perspective, a new relationship with yourself, with the difficult, with yourself as you experience difficulty, and perhaps even open up new ideas of how you can nurture yourself, take care of yourself, and if that requires changes, then at least they're coming through a mindful and skillful perspective. So let's just think about attachment and difficulty. Where are we going to find these? Well, it could be even just in meditation, as beginners to mindfulness, as people who are coming into the world of mindfulness. Often there are common beliefs that perhaps if there's a noise or a background noise when you're meditating, that this is a problem, that in a way it just spoils your meditation. So you might choose that as a difficulty. It might be that you've set yourself a goal, either about your own self, how you should be, or a goal of what you think you should achieve, or a goal of where you think you should be in life at this particular time. And if those are not happening, then you've got lots to sit on as potential difficulty. It might be as simple as, I want meditation to be relaxing and calm. Why is it that when I'm meditating, my mind is wandering and my body feels agitated? So, well, why not just sit with that then and use that as your practice? So, wherever it comes down to a belief that you're not good enough, or things are not the way they should be, or you have to work on this better, that's where we get our motivation for this practice. And recognize in this that difficulty is a part of life, that change is a universal constant, and that we're all human, and it is human to fail, and it's human to perhaps always be tending towards rumination or anxiety, and that these are actually normal human things, and it's okay just to let them be as part of the experience. So learning to surf the waves instead of fighting against them, and learning to recognize the second arrow of self-judgment or self-doubt or self-criticism, and just bring awareness to allowing, because we can't explore anything in an honest and authentic way if we're always pushing it away or trying to pretend it's not there. So instead of going from this I've got a difficulty to I've got to take action, I sense something's wrong, I have to do things differently, let's add in an extra step. So let's go with R for rain. I recognize there's a difficulty here. But instead of going straight to action, let's go to A for allowing. Let's just allow this experience to be, and let's accept whatever arises in the meditation. Allow the experience to unfold in an authentic way. Just for an experiment, just for a 20-minute meditation. See what happens. And seeing what happens, we move to I for investigate. As we sit with that difficulty and as we allow it to happen, investigate, how does this then resonate? What does it bring alive in our emotions? Sitting face to face with something that we really don't want to have to deal with. How does it feel in the body? How does the body manifest those emotions? And going a little bit deeper, how does this then manifest itself in the brain? What stories are there? What beliefs are there? What assumptions are there? What are you saying to yourself as you analyze and investigate this difficulty? And then that brings you back into a loop. As you go through that experience, come back to, can I sit with what is new that is arising? Can I investigate it and go a little bit deeper? And once you've been through that experience of I investigating, we move on to a new perspective on N, nurturing. So before taking action, here was our difficulty, here was our allowing, here's our process of investigation. As we move to N, nurturing, what do we actually need? Having gone through the process of allowing and investigating, has this brought to light any really deep needs within us that we hadn't recognized before? Has it brought a new perspective on the situation? Things that are coming from the outside world, or things that are coming from our own internal dialogue? When we get to that nurturing, using that as a way of saying, well, what do I actually need here? Are there any needs that are not being met? Are there any needs that I haven't recognized before? And that then allows us to move to the next step, which is still not taking action. The next step is just resting with that whole experience. And after the meditation, keeping your heart space open, because things will come to mind. You're now activated that investigation and that compassionate nurturing. And the body-mind will continue to work on this problem. But instead of working on it from the doing mind, which tends to take us into a negativity loop and into old thought patterns, it's activating the being mind and the subconscious to work on this, but in a different way. and that will then bring up perhaps new ideas, which you can then perhaps jot down in a journal, and as you see any patterns, this can then bring you to a space of informed perspective where you can begin to think about what action could you take in order to resolve the situation. Might be you don't need to do anything at all. Might be that you can make a few adjustments to your day or to your routine. Might be that you add something new into your life, or it might be that you just bring a new sense of self-acceptance and allow yourself just to be a little bit kinder to yourself as you face the difficulties that we all go through. So that is our process, and leading towards, of course, just self-growth and self-nurturing and self-care, because that's what it's all about. So we're going to set our intention in this meditation to use rain to explore what goes on inside in times of difficulty, but to do this in a mindful way, in a compassionate way, and in a gentle way, and to be open to whatever arises during this meditation. Just be open. Let the meditation do itself. Often when we set intentions, there could be a tendency to set expectations. I want a certain outcome from this meditation. I want to feel better. I want to feel relaxed. I want to feel at ease. I want all my problems solved. We're not setting outcomes, we're setting intentions. The intention is, here is a situation, I'm going to meditate on it, but the meditation is just going to do its own thing. Whatever arises might take you by surprise. Whatever arises might go beyond your expectations. Whatever arises might not meet your expectations, but just be with whatever arises as you meditate on that theme. So today, the theme of difficulty, going through the steps of rain, recognizing, allowing and accepting, investigating, and then opening up ideas for nurturing. Okay, so we're going to get started. As always, in a meditation, you want to maintain a posture which is grounded and secure, which invites a sense of alertness and awakefulness, but also of relaxation. So you might just want to shift your posture a little bit, check your feet are on the floor, check that you're nicely grounded on your chair, maybe roll your shoulders a little bit, make sure they're relaxed. Shake out your hands, because this is difficulty, so we might already have some tension here. And I'm going to start the meditation and end it with my bells. My dog is lying just here. She might get up during the middle of the meditation. I'm aware that the sun is just here, and by the time we finish the meditation, it's going to be probably about here. So I'm living with that. Just going to be with whatever arises. And before we start, maybe start already deciding on what difficulty you want to investigate. So examples, something that is alive for you right now, something that when you think about it, you're really there. A difficulty or a problem that's not yet resolved, it's niggling your mind, that really is weighing on your shoulders. It could be a background noise. When you're meditating, you never get peace. And every time you sit to meditate, oh God, there's this noise again. It's the neighbours or the kids or the dog or whatever. It might be that you're going to deal with a sense of restlessness or agitation in meditation. That could be your difficulty. It might be a physical discomfort. Might be something, a niggling pain or a sensation in the body or an ache, a joint, something in your guts or your head. Maybe you've got a headache, tension. Why not sit with that as your difficulty? Could be a relationship perhaps you've just had an argument or a difficult conversation, or you're in a difficult situation with a partner or a child or a colleague at work or someone, a neighbour, someone in your life. Maybe you had an argument with someone in a supermarket, or during this COVID thing, somebody was breathing down your neck, or something was happening that just made life go in a way that pushed you out of your comfort zone. That's really what we're looking for in this meditation. Nothing that's overwhelming though. Save the overwhelm for another day, and let's just sit with a difficulty that we can work on. Okay, so we've got our posture, we've got our intention, we've got our idea of what we want to think about, and now we're going to go into our rain meditation. Using the bells as a way of dropping into meditation. So just dropping into awareness. First of all, bringing the attention to the posture, to the body grounded, the feet on the floor, the body grounded and stable and secure. Just quickly checking in with the physical sensations of the feet and the ground beneath your feet, and checking in with the physical sensation of the body in contact with the surface you're sitting on. Those areas of pressure, those areas of contact, those sensations of being grounded and stable and secure. And then bringing your attention to your breath and just dropping into the breath as it is, with nothing to change, nothing to adjust. Just being with the body, breathing by itself. And exploring those physical sensations of breathing wherever you feel them the most present, whether it be in the chest, in the belly, or in the nose. Just dropping into following the full breath in and the physical sensations of expansion, the sensations in the belly and the expanding ribs, and the cool air coming in the nose. Staying with the in-breath. Each new breath in, a new beginning. And then switching focus to each out breath and the full physical sensation of letting go. The relaxation in the belly and the relaxation in the chest, and the letting go of warm air out the tip of the nose. Each out breath, a letting go. And now, in your own way, bringing to mind the difficulty that you want to explore, and setting the intention to recognize all that this brings alive in you. Now, your difficulty might be a background noise. Your difficulty might be an incident with someone, an argument or a misunderstanding. It might be a failed goal, an outcome that hasn't been achieved, a sense of missed opportunity. Something didn't go the way you wanted. Or it might be something that you feel wanting in yourself. Just whatever you've chosen, bringing it into your mind's eye and really visualizing the experience, bringing it alive, dropping into reliving those details, finding yourself back in the setting, visualizing who was there, what they were doing, remembering any sounds that were there, playing back through the chain of events, bringing to mind any dialogue or inner dialogue, and really living this experience in your mind. And bringing awareness to it so that you can bring the emotions alive and the triggers and any strong reactions. Just taking some time to really immerse yourself in this difficult situation. Bring it alive. We're going to use this experience to explore what it feels like when life doesn't meet our expectations, or when we fail to achieve our outcomes, or when difficulty pushes us out of our comfort zone. So begin by exploring what feelings are alive in this difficult experience. And as you feel those emotions, go through a process of recognizing and labeling. And as those feelings arise, just say, yes, here is anger. Or yes, I recognize fear. Or it's okay, I can see sadness. Or I accept here that I feel annoyance, or maybe frustration, or even fatigue. It's possible there's a whole range of different emotions, so allow them to arise and just recognize them and accept them and label them. And then wait to see what arises again in the next moments. And exploring these feelings more deeply, remembering that for a first arrow there's usually many second arrows. Just see what other feelings might be evoked. Maybe aware of judgment or of anger at yourself for getting angry. Any feelings of failure or inadequacy or self-judgment. If you find any of these, accept them too. And if you find these, and the word acceptance is really difficult, if you find that you're resisting them or denying them or really wanting to push them away, then make that part of the practice. Say, here is resistance. I'm resisting accepting my anger. I'm uncomfortable when I have to accept my guilt. I feel dis-ease when I have to recognize my failure. I'm not happy when I have to face my inner critic. Just keep coming back to whatever judgments are here, whatever emotions, being open to accept these and recognizing either acceptance or resistance in this process. And perhaps even just bringing a sense of humour to this. Humour at finding aversion to your own aversion, or anger to your own anger, or a sense of failure in trying to explore your own sense of failure. So, going deeper into your heart space with these feelings, and then widening your attention to noticing where in your body these emotions are most alive for you. So, moving attention to emotions and physical sensations. And just take your time, just do a quick check-in. What's going on in your jaw? What's happening in your throat? What's going on with your brow and your eyes? What does it feel like around your mouth? Checking in for any tension or holding, furrowing, tightening, clenching. Drop into your chest. What's going on there? How's your breathing? Any restricted breathing or rapid breathing or shallow breathing? How's the heart? Any sense of pounding or racing? Check in with the shoulders. Any tension. And do the same with your legs. Check in with the muscles of the thighs or the calves, or maybe even the toes, for any holding or tension. Check in with the hands. Often the hands live our emotions, maybe movement or tension or fidgeting. And then perhaps just have a quick noticing of your skin temperature. Awareness of any areas of cold or warmth. And perhaps even your internal body temperature. Do you have a sense of your blood running cold or warm? And what about in your bones? How do they feel? And then moving attention to checking out for any shivering or trembling. Often this is a way of deep emotions being released as the body shivers or trembles. And then obviously looking for any areas of pain or cramping, perhaps in the joints or in the muscles or the inner organs. And finally, just checking for a general sense of restlessness or unease. And when you're feeling bad, experiencing difficulty, it's important to be connected to the embodied experience. So just check in with whatever you feel most strongly. What physical manifestations there are, and dropping beneath those, just asking yourself, what is most vulnerable in you? And through this question, going deeper into exploring, what are you saying to yourself? What thoughts are coming to mind? What stories? What memories? When you sit with this difficulty, where does your mind go? And for this meditation, just accepting that the mind does wander, and for once just following wherever it goes. Whatever's arising, the thoughts and the feelings that they bring with them, and the sensations that come with those, don't push them away. Try to go beyond the urge to fix or to change or to comfort, and try just allowing things to arise and be with whatever is alive in you right now. So what are those stories telling you right now? Is your mind saying, oh, here we go again, down that old familiar pattern? Is your mind nagging you with all the things that you need to change? Are your thoughts going round and round in a belief that something needs to be different? Are you mulling over a belief that you're not good enough? Are there any fears or any memories? Are there any desires? Are you aware of any denials or any pushing away? What are you saying to yourself right now? Take your time and just explore those thoughts. Dropping a bit deeper into those thoughts. What lies beneath them? What's driving those thoughts? Are you aware of any stereotypes? Any judgments? Any assumptions? Any beliefs? Any expectations of how you think things should be? Any beliefs of how you think you should be? If you're experiencing self-doubt or a sense of failing or a sense of inadequacy, maybe self-criticism or feeling that you're not lovable, just recognize that this kind of thinking is a kind of a trance, and that this kind of self-criticism inevitably brings you to war with yourself, not liking yourself or being unhappy with what you find in yourself. Recognize these difficult self-judgments. Don't push them away. Otherwise, you're going to end up not liking yourself for not liking yourself, and being at war with yourself to try and stop yourself from being at war with yourself. Just allow these thoughts to be here too, and drop them in as part of the practice. And then drop deeper and explore these. if you recognize that you're at war with yourself, what emotions does this bring up? What physical sensations are here as you sit face to face with your own self-judgment and your own self-beliefs and your self-imposed stereotypes and your own constructed expectations and your own assumptions about yourself. Keep going deeper and investigate these with care and with kindness, and accept, yeah, here is judgment. Or yeah, here I am in denial. Or, oh, I recognize self-criticism. And yeah, these are my own assumptions. Just try and sit with those and accept them and recognize that these are indeed here. And yeah, investigate. As you investigate and keep going deeper, is there any sense of what your vulnerable self needs? Does it need to be seen in a different way? Does it need simply to be accepted for what it is? Does it need to be loved? Or just held and recognized? So at this point in the meditation, maybe put a hand on your heart, or give one hand a light soothing touch, or even just hug yourself, or stroke your arm, or in any way that you can bring a physical touch of self-comfort. And you ask yourself, what is it that I really need right now? What can I give to myself to ease my difficulty? And maybe start by just saying to yourself, it's okay, I'm here with you. I'm sorry you're feeling so bad. I care about your suffering. It's okay, I'm here with you. I'm sorry you're feeling so bad. I care about your suffering. And call on a sense of loving kindness and offer it inward. And whether you find this easy, or whether you find resistance or aversion, allow this to be here and make this part of the practice. What emotions are alive in you right now? What physical sensations? What thoughts? What stories? What judgments? And also, what needs? What needs do you feel arising? listening to your feelings, going beyond the thoughts, dropping underneath the physical sensations, and being with what is here. Offer yourself comfort and acceptance and support, and acknowledge that yes, you are only human and you are part of life's rich tapestry. And ask yourself, who am I if I'm not believing there's anything wrong with me? And who am I if I can accept what is here with tenderness and openness and spaciousness? And who am I if I stop being at war with myself? Bapuji says, "My beloved child, break your heart no longer. Each time you judge yourself, you break your own heart. You stop feeding on the love which is the wellspring of your vitality. The time has come, your time, to live, to celebrate, and to see the goodness that you are. Let no one and no thing, no idea or ideal obstruct you. If one comes, even in the name of truth, forgive it for its unknowing. Do not fight. Let go and breathe into the goodness that you are." And so returning to the breath and to the body grounded and secure, and to your connection with the earth and your connection with the world around you, and offering a sense of loving kindness to all beings in difficulty. And knowing that you are included in this group and receiving the loving kindness. And then noticing what is here for you right now, and congratulating yourself for your practice and for this act of self-care. And as you transition into the rest of your day, perhaps resting for a while in the space after this meditation. And if you've got a journal to hand, just jotting down what comes to mind, what stays with you after this meditation, any observations or insights, any deeper truths, or even just any questions that you have. Anything new that you've learned about yourself, or even just a sense of restlessness and difficulty. Whatever's here, just jot it down. And be aware that as you go through the rest of your day, or even the next few days, this meditation is still working in the background. And it might be that you need to come back to your journal and write down new things as they arise. It might be a good idea to repeat this meditation in a few days' time and see if the experience has evolved. Maybe on that day, meditating in a different mood, it might bring new things to light. And be open to whatever arises, wherever you recognize an attachment to outcome. Just recognize that. Ah, yeah, there's that attachment to outcome again. What would happen if I just let that go and see what's actually really here? And let's see if I can actually just accept what is here for what it is. And maybe I might create some new expectations or reevaluate what I think about things. And maybe find a whole new way of surfing the waves and relating to yourself and to what you find difficult. So thank you for your practice today. This was the meditation for the very last day of February, and here we are recording it for you on the first day of March. So thank you for being here.